So when I was 5 years old, my grandfather died while I was sitting on his lap. Well, the hero in this and the beauty and the gift in this story is the way my family, so my hero is my family, my close family. I had a lot of aunts and uncles. And this story turned into, if someone were to say like, oh, he died while Robin was sitting on his lap, the immediate reaction is like, oh my gosh, is she okay? Is everyone okay? And they would always say, but he died so happy with the apple of his eye. What a gift. So since I was 5 years old, I thought I had given my grandfather the greatest gift of all. I felt empowered. I felt like a very special person that I was able to do that for him, not even really knowing what I had done. And I didn't even know what the apple of an eye was, but I just remember over and over and over again hearing, but he died with the apple of his eye, the best way, like so joyful. So my interpretation throughout my life has been perception is reality.
Welcome to the Kindness Factor podcast, sharing life-changing personal stories of the transformational impact of deep kindness. Hosted by
Dr. Elia, the happiness doctor,
and Randy McNeely, the kindness giver. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to another episode of the Kindness Factor podcast. I'm Randy McNeely, known as the kindness giver. I'm joined by Dr. Elia Gourgouris, America's happiness doctor. He is the man who brings all the happiness that comes from Greece, because he is the happy Greek, let me tell you. And Elia, thanks so much for being back in the United States. We're glad that you're here. Grateful that you made it back safely.
Thank you.
We are thrilled today to be joined by an amazing lady named Robin Berlinsky. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Elia because he gets to introduce this wonderful lady.
And Robin, it's a pleasure to have you here, but let our audience know a little bit about who you are and what you do. So, Robin Berlinsky is an educator turned entrepreneur. She left first grade teaching 30 years ago and has since started two successful multi-seven figures. I want you to listen to that. Nonprofits, though. And a lot of times you don't think about nonprofits and multi-seven figures, but Robin continues to run her second nonprofit, Engaging Creative Minds, providing arts programs to schools across South Carolina. She also teaches early childhood courses in the School of Education at the College of Charleston. Robin is on a mission, and she's so mission driven. You'll see, to empower more nonprofits to operate in abundance. Her podcast called Energy Matters with Robin Berlinsky highlights educational programs and nonprofits doing great things in the world because we need more nonprofits serving their communities. Amen to that. And this is my favorite part of my favorite part of her introduction is this. Known for her woohoo spirit, yes, Robin motivates nonprofit teams to do great things. Under her direction, ECM won the New York Life Excellence in Summer Learning Award from the National Summer Learning Association and secured millions of dollars to expand their arts programs across the entire state of South Carolina. She lives in Charleston, South Carolina with her two rescue dogs and loves traveling to visit her three adult kids who live in Colorado, New York, and Georgia. Colorado, you didn't tell me that. I'm in Colorado. Who's here?
Yeah. So my oldest son, Alex, lives in Denver.
No way. Well, when you come out and visit, you got a place to stay.
Oh, I know who I'm looking up.
That's right. Welcome to our show, Robin.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Robin, one of the things that we start out with right off the bat is we love to have our guests invite our guests to share with us an experience that you've had with a kindness hero, really with someone who touched your life, impacted your life in such a way that it was transformative for you, and it still continues to impact you now. Do you have a story you'd like to share with us?
I do actually. And it's going to sound sad, but stay with me. It's a really good ending. So when I was 5 years old, my grandfather died while I was sitting on his lap. So he was handing me coins like he always did out of his pocket. And I was sitting, all excited. And he must have had a heart attack while he was handing them to me. His hand stayed in my hand, and I was, as a 5-year-old trying to get my money from my grandfather, and he wasn't answering me. So I run to the stairs, the cellar where my mom was doing laundry, and said, we called him Cappy. Cappy won't talk to me. So fast forward to all now the energy of, the ambulance comes and all of this, and then my grandfather has died. Well, the hero in this and the beauty and the gift in this story is the way my family, so my hero is my family, my close family. I had a lot of aunts and uncles, and this story turned into, if someone were to say like, oh, he died while Robin was sitting on his lap, the immediate reaction's like, oh my gosh, is she okay? Is everyone okay? And they would always say, but he died so happy with the apple of his eye. What a gift. So since I was 5 years old, I thought I had given my grandfather the greatest gift of all. I felt empowered. I felt like a very special person, that I was able to do that for him, not even really knowing what I had done. And I didn't even know what the apple of an eye was, but I just remember over and over and over again hearing, but he died with the apple of his eye, the best way, like so joyful. So my interpretation throughout my life has been perception is reality. So knowing that this moment that could have been such a tragic memory for me was actually such a gift, because I can look at any situation and see how maybe we can perceive it one way, but then is there a gift within that situation? And so I consider my family, without even knowing this, they were not psychologists, and they certainly didn't go to therapy to learn this, but somehow they were able to transform that situation into a gift that I've carried with me my whole life.
Oh my
That
goodness.
is so unique. I don't think I've ever heard that before, like ever. And I've heard a lot of things in my life. That story that you just said, that is so unique. And you're right. It could have been a very traumatic event that stigmatized you, or a dark cloud over your head for the rest of your life. And yet it became this beautiful experience. And, as I'm getting older, grandpa myself, Randy's a grandpa too, the whole idea of exiting this mortal existence with having your grandchild in your lap, that is a great exit, as long as it's not traumatic for the kid. But I'm talking about in terms of like energetically speaking, what a wonderful way to transition. Like, man, then the next generation, my granddaughter, the apple of my, I mean, that's so beautiful, Robin.
Thank you. It really is. And, I, again, never saw it as never once did I think of that as anything negative, other than, I was, as a child, able to give him this gift. Like I had given him a gift, and it was so empowering as a child to feel that much like, wow, I can do this. And then again, to look at that perception as reality concept has brought me into this, new third act. I've told Elia, I turned 60 last summer, and I'm looking at this next adventure as my third act. Like my first 30 years, I did this, and my second 30 years, I did that. And my next 30 years, I'm empowering nonprofits. And a lot of that messaging early on about how you perceive a situation and the gifts within them are what I use today when I talk to nonprofits who are saying things like, oh, they got money and we didn't. And I'm like, oh, but they're showing you what's possible. Do you not see when this other nonprofit received this $300,000 grant, the universe is net positive? That is showing you what is possible for you. And they're like empowered by that. Wow, I thought if they had it, I couldn't. I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
That is truly empowering, man, because think about that. You're in a situation where your mind is being sucked into the negative vortex, right? You're being sucked down the negative hole, and somebody turns that around. It's almost like, no, wait a minute, the whirlpool is going to reverse. It's going to spit out the good stuff. It's coming back, and you can get all these wonderful things if you look at it the right way. Okay, so I didn't get it this time, and somebody else got it. That means it's possible to get, right? So what do I do to get it the next time?
Yeah, you're the perception, you're turning a scarcity mentality into an abundance mentality, and giving people hope and giving nonprofits hope. I think the work that you do is God's work, seriously, that you're helping organizations to do good work around this world. I mean, it must be very fulfilling for you. to actually,
It is so fulfilling. Yes, thank you. And I also, one of my big messages with all of them is like, we complete, we don't compete. And funders love collaborations.
Wait, slow down. Say that again. That's beautiful. That you, the pearls of wisdom are coming out of her mouth. I'm going to slow down here. Say
and
that
I talk
again.
really fast. So.
Yeah, but say that again and tell me what you mean by that. We complete, we don't compete. What does that mean?
Yep. So a lot of, I love this phrase, is like the nonprofits sometimes see our world as the Hunger Games. Like we're all just like killing each other to get to the funders, and like whoever talks to them first gets the gold. And we're like, no. We're not the Hunger Games. We actually work better when we complete each other rather than compete with each other. So I encourage nonprofits to collaborate and write grants together, because a funder loves to see community organizations coming together to do good in their community, and their money can go that much further. So if nonprofits could stop looking outward at who's kind of the competition and look outward at who could complete our mission in a more beautiful and giving way, then there's more abundance for them, because those grants are way more impactful when they're written in collaboration.
Interesting. Okay. Well, what an education we're getting.
Well, you think about it. We always talk about how we can do more together than we can by ourselves. I mean, why should it be any different for organizations, right?
Exactly.
They can do more together than they can by themselves, and they make a big difference. You know, that's just called, that seems like common sense. It's not necessarily is, but it seems like it should be.
Well, it's like the candle, you know, the candle can light so many other candles. The candle lighting other candles doesn't go out because it gave away its light. It's more powerful and more light. So it's all those things we always hear about, but you know, when you're in it, it's hard. Like, I'll give you an example. Recently, I don't know if you all know this, but about a year ago, Mackenzie Scott announced she was giving away a whole bunch of $1 million grants. And so my nonprofit, we wrote one of those $1 million grants. I was certain we would get it. We wrote the grant. $1 million would allow us to provide our programs in every high school in the state of South Carolina. I thought that was a win. So fast forward, the grants are announced. We do not win an award, but down the street, one of my colleagues who works in a prison system received not one, but $2 million. Because when Mackenzie Scott was deciding to write the checks, just like when we're in the grocery line and we decide to buy a candy bar, she says, I think I'll just make this $2 million for fun. So all of these nonprofits that wrote these grants for $1 million received $2 million. Now, I could have fallen on the floor with $2 million. We called, we celebrated, we went to Columbia, which is our state capital, about 2 hours away. We bought a ticket to a luncheon that celebrated this nonprofit. We cheered, Elia, woohoo, we woohooed. And we showed that nonprofit that we are all in this. We are all lit. We're all brighter because of your award and what you're doing in South Carolina. And so it's just, again, that abundance mindset, and knowing that this person who I know very well was able to secure $2 million, that's available to me also. So now I'm out looking for my next opportunity.
That's awesome. I mean, it's all faith, no fear, all abundance, no scarcity. And, you know, Robin, getting to know you has been one of the highlights of my year, just getting to know you. You have such a good heart. You're such a kind human being. How has the way that you grew up and the way that your family it changed, you know, this event when you were 5 years old? How are you passing that forward? How are you, in whether it's organizations or maybe on a personal level, one-on-one with other people, how have you, and in some ways keeping your grandpa's legacy alive, I think?
Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen today. We sincerely appreciate you. My friends, I firmly believe that every one of us has an inner kindness hero that is just waiting to be released every day. I'd like to give you a pathway for releasing yours. How? By helping us to flood the earth with as much kindness as possible, to create a global kindemic that spreads love, hope, and happiness. Like and subscribe to each of our social media channels listed in the description, and take out a subscription through Buzzsprout for as little as $10 per month. You can help us to continue to spread the kindemic by bringing you great content here and taking our transformative kindness message to a much broader global audience through the Kindness Factor Human Interest series. Release your inner kindness hero today. Thank you for your support.
Definitely. And
yeah,
it's interesting. I don't talk about this. Many people, when I share this, they're going to say, we never knew that. It's not part of my story. It's not part of my messaging when I speak. But in this instance, when you asked, and I realized that moment was it, that really was the kindness that carried throughout my life because of seeing, again, what happened and how it could be seen as a gift. And that's that abundance mindset. That's not operating in lack. It's being in a positive space where there are gifts in everything. And just that moment, to me, when you ask that question, I'm like, there is no other moment. That one defines my entire life. And throughout all the years, and I didn't recognize it at first. This took, I would say 10 years ago, it kind of went, oh, that did it. Because I would always see, like in my earlier years, my grandfather is my guardian angel. When you would hear like, oh, someone's watching over you, I knew immediately, oh, it's my guardian, because I gave him that beautiful gift when he died. Of course he's looking after me. Like, look what I did for him. And there was that connection that was so powerful that I carried that in different ways and different stages. But now, launching into my third act and working with nonprofits and seeing just so much heart and soul that's connected to their missions, I see how impactful that message is that my family gave to me, that there is a blessing inside, and that, again, it's how you perceive a situation. And the other piece is that I wake up every day. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I wake up every day like the Energizer Bunny. It's like I could go to bed and it's the worst day I've ever had, and I wake up just like ready to go, like Groundhog's Day. I don't know what is in my DNA that causes that, but I do believe it goes back to all of that belief that there's always something better, there's always something positive, and not being attached to the outcome as much as just keep doing something that's giving, that gives somebody a new way to look at something, like what my family did for me. If they had just left me and said, well, that's too bad, and then I overheard all those conversations of people being shocked, is she okay? I would have carried it differently throughout my life. But they didn't do that. They celebrated, again, that I was able to give a gift.
I love when you said, don't be attached to outcome, because a lot of us actually do things with a certain expectation of a certain outcome. And if it works out, great. But oftentimes in life, it doesn't quite work out that way. Like you not getting the grant, but the lady next door getting the 2 million and you didn't get anything. If you had been attached to the outcome, that would have been a very different way. But because you weren't, you were able to celebrate with her and support her in her success.
That's right.
The thing it is, it would have been so easy for you to be down and not support her. Some people in that situation would be irritated and bugged that, well, why didn't I get my grant money? Why did they get it? I work just as hard as they do, blah, 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 but no. You didn't do that.
I always say it wasn't my day. Yeah, it wasn't my day to be the bride. It's my turn to be the bridesmaid. I can't always be the bride. Another thing I say to my staff, there's two things. When things happen, and we're all human and we have moments, I do two things. I'll either say it's a blip, let's move on, or bless and release. We have bigger things to do. Mm-hmm. And if we were attached to every outcome, we would be sitting waiting for the water to boil on so many pots. And it's not only boring, it's a waste of time. And so
good.
Right? Let's just keep moving. Let's keep fishing. Let's find new fishing holes. Let's go.
It's like the staring at paint and making it work, hoping you're going to make it dry faster.
Exactly.
It's whether you're there or not, it's going to dry when it dries. The water's going to boil when it boils, and it doesn't need you to stand there and make it move along. That's fantastic. And Robin, we could go on for a long time. We can talk for a long time. But when we get to a certain point, we have to start thinking, okay, it's time for us to ask for Robin or whoever our guest is to deliver There are three pearls of wisdom, the
There are
nuggets.
three nuggets. I mean, she's already mentioned a lot. But if
Love
you
it.
have other ones, or you can reiterate the three that you have already, but
Well,
it's
I have more. I have more nuggets.
okay.
three
Let's go.
pearls of wisdom, three nuggets that you would like to share with our audience
Okay.
to inspire their day and to maybe to give them some more golden thoughts to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually going to share the three pillars I use with my staff because this is what's carried us through. And it applies to everything, whether you're the leader of an organization, a company, a family, whatever it is. These are really great nuggets. So my pearls of wisdom, as you call them, is the first one is to operate in a space of yes. And I don't mean say yes to everybody who calls you and overwhelm yourself with yeses. What I mean is to honor the brainstorming, to honor the thinking and the ideas. And if it's crazy, you can say, wow, that is so crazy. Let me think about that, or let's dive deeper into that. And what I've learned is, especially with nonprofits, if you operate in a space of yes, you're going to get somewhere really cool. And programs run on really creative energy. And the more ideas you can spark and work on, the better your outcomes will be. So number one is operate in a space of yes. Number two is to embrace the woohoo spirit. And that is simply enjoy life, have fun. Today, I had a meeting this morning with my staff. Our numbers are low for our summer camp that starts on Monday, very low. So it could be a meeting we go into feeling negative and in lack. But I flipped it to them and said, you guys, we're going to celebrate the opportunity to have one-on-one relationships with these students because we have low enrollment. We're going to call every parent today and tell them how excited we are for their kid to come next week and what is it they want to tell us about their child. We're going to make sure we write letters next week to every student so that they get something in the mail with a picture of them at camp. That personalized attention is a gift. So we're celebrating, we're woo-hooing the fact that our numbers are low. And then my third is to live in a constant state of gratitude. And we do this daily. We scour papers and news reports, and we find people who won awards or who retired or principal of the year. And we send handwritten cards. We all sign them. There's signatures on the side, and we write a personalized note. We send them for anything that is celebratory, and we get behind it. And we have had more comments about how impactful that is just on an emotional level, that a group of people take the time to send a card of gratitude or appreciation. And so we thank people. We reach out to all our volunteers. We're constantly elevating and celebrating and thanking and being positive in every way. So those are my three pearls.
And all acts of kindness, like everything you just described, these are all acts of kindness in ways small and large, but more importantly, meaningful to the receiver.
Well, and think about it, in that last little segment, you gave three more nuggets.
Elevate, I know she did.
Elevate, celebrate, and I can't remember what the last one was. Elevate.
I will have to push rewind and see.
Something else. But you think, what a beautiful thing. And I'm assuming, am I correct in assuming that these are people that you don't know? I mean, that you're sending the notes to. You just scour.
Sometimes we know, sometimes we don't. Mm-hmm.
And so it's both. Yeah. You're scouring newspapers, scouring news articles, and just sending out those notes because you can. Nobody's asked. And that's the thing.
You. There's no expectation. There's no outcome. We send them because we're sending love. And if someone reaches out and does, there's nothing attached to that. It's complete gratitude and celebration.
And you know what I love about what Robin just said? It's like none of these are random acts of kindness. These are conscious, deliberate acts of kindness, right? I mean, they literally every day they look for opportunities to express gratitude and thankfulness.
Well, so it's a beautiful thing. I don't believe there are any random acts of kindness. What I do believe is that there are random opportunities to give kindness. We come across random opportunities all the time. And the fact that you're intentionally looking, but you might find one opportunity here. You might scour 10 other papers and find nothing. You might scour none. So they're random opportunities that are popping up, and you're intentionally going after them.
That's right. Yep. I'm always aware. I'm always watching for that driftwood.
Robin, my goodness. Thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your beautiful woohoo spirit.
Yes.
That went so fast. best.
My kids are going to laugh because I'm always walking around saying, woohoo, so they say, Dad, you found someone else who does that. You're not completely nuts.
All right, I'm going to take a picture of everybody. Let's go. Yeah, there we go. All right, very good.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And before we go, we need to ask.
Oh yeah, that's right.
How can our audience connect with you?
Absolutely.
Connect with Robin.
Instagram is @Robin_Berlinsky. Facebook is The Learning Ring, and that's my website, thelearningring.com.
Okay. And
if there's anybody in our audience, I'm going to say this, that has a nonprofit that is like, this is the America's nonprofit guru. She will help you, and she's the only thing I'm concerned about is like she lacks passion. I don't see any energy around her or whatever. It's like,
yeah, it's kind of
not only is she going to do that, but she's going to bring the fun in the whole process, because a lot of times
I just sent out $1.8 million in grants today, this morning. 5 grants, 1.8 million. Woohoo!
That is awesome.
Congratulations.
Elia, you said she's going to bring the fun in. I think she's going to bring the woohoo in.
All of it.
All of it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you to our audience. Thank you for joining us today. Now, I want to just take 30 seconds. If you listen to this show today and you're in our audience, take the time to think about what you can do to bring the woohoo into your life, how you can turn perception from scarcity to positivity. Every one of us can do that. We have the ability to do that. So take a look at your life, your own life. Think about where you're at. Ask, how can I do better in these things? How am I doing? Is there an area I can do better in? That's the whole purpose behind these shows, is to come away, hopefully have you come away thinking, wow, that gave me a lot of food for thought. Take the time to do that, and I can promise you that your day and your life will get even better. And
because
as
with
you go
kindness,
away,
go ahead.
I was going to say, as you go away throughout the week, remember that with kindness,
everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Robin, you get to say it too. With kindness, everybody wins.
With kindness, everybody wins.
That's right.
Woohoo!
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.